John Donne is known to be a metaphysical poet, and this death be not proud, he speaks to death. So 2 internals and 2 assignments you will have, that also for 10 marks. So all these add up to 40 marks. Annotation is for 12 marks. You need to answer any 3 out of this 6 poetry part. Okay, he talks about the tender love that he expresses towards a girl, but he is not able to meet that girl after 2 meetings. So hello everyone, I am Dr. Shalini, Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today we are here to get the syllabus introduced prescribed by University of Mysuru for 2nd Sem B.B.A. Let us understand what is there in the syllabus this sem. So what is there in today's module? So today we are going to get to know about the syllabus, what and all are the poems, what and all are the prose parts that are prescribed by the university, and also we'll understand the pattern of evaluation along with the pattern of question paper. So why delay? Let us begin soon. Yes. So to begin with, let me tell you about the poetry part that is prescribed by university for you. So first we have this Death Be Not Proud by John Donne. John Donne is known to be a metaphysical poet, and this Death Be Not Proud, he speaks to death. Okay, he tells it not to be proud because death actually takes away the human's life. Okay, so he talks to death like as if he's talking to a person. Okay, so this is a very famous poem and you must have already read it also during your school days. It was actually there, but I don't know whether you have read it or not. So this time you are going to read this wonderful poem. Next you have My Last Duchess. Yes, this was also there during your school days. This is written by Robert Browning. So here Robert Browning, he talks to one of his friends about his wife, his beautiful wife. Okay, so the third one is Ozymandias, which is written by Percy B. Shelley. So popularly known as P.B. Shelley. Few famous poems of Shelley's you might have already read. That is To the Skylark, Ode to the Grecian Urn. All these are his famous poems. Ozymandias, of course, is one of the most famous poems. You might have already read it in your school days because this is such a famous poem that talks about the power of the kings which is no more after their death. Okay, so he talks about that in Ozymandias. Then we have Unknown Citizen, written by W.H. Auden. Yes, it's a lengthy poem, but it is very interesting. Next, we move on to Langston Hughes' poem, I Too. Yes, I'm going to keep it as a surprise because this is a very wonderful poem you are going to understand. Very wonderful theme which is relevant even to today's life. Then we have Mirror by Sylvia Path. So she is talking about how one can lead a very useful life. Okay, a life that has lot of ethics. Okay, so then we have this Robert Frost's poem, that is Mending Wall. Robert Frost is actually known for his poems, that is he is known for his poems as well as short stories. This poem also, it talks lot about ethics. It gives you a lot of moral values. Okay, so we are talking about Mending Wall here. Then at last we have Ulysses by the Marillion, written by Edwin Thumboo. So here he talks about Ulysses, a person who is very inspiring. Okay, so here it is actually a very inspiring poem to you. Yes, you have a long list of poems that is very interesting in your poetry part. Then we move on to the prose part. Now you have very interesting prose parts over here. First thing we have is Self-Portrait, written by Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru, you already know him, right? So he talks about Rashtrapati. This is a you can say he writes about a person over there. Okay, so self-portrait, he is trying to talk about somebody. He is trying to portray somebody here. Next, we have Ruskin Bond's The Night Train at Deoley. This is a very romantic story for you. This is the first love that Ruskin Bond talks about. Okay, that is the first love of Ruskin Bond's. Okay, he talks about that. So he talks about what the tender love that he expresses towards a girl, but he is not able to meet that girl after 2 meetings. So he talks about that in At the Night Train at Dioli. Next we have On the Rule of the Road, written by A.C. Gardiner. Yes, this is also a very interesting story. It is little lengthy, but yes, it is a very interesting story. Then we have After 20 Years by O. Henry. O. Henry, you already know that he is very famous for his short stories and poems. Okay, so short stories O. Henry is very famous for. He talks about a few changes that have been taken place after 20 years. Yes, this you might have already read it, like the translation is available in Kannada and other languages. But yes, you might have already read this in your school days also. This is a very interesting story. So these are the 4 parts which you will have, 4 stories which you will have for your prose part. Okay, self-portrait is more or less a kind of essay kind of thing. Okay, so other 3 are very interesting stories. So let us move on to the next part, that is the language component part. So under language component, that is literary activity, you have these 4, that is adjectives, adverbs, linkers and words often confused. So under adjectives, you have only identification of adjectives. Okay, you need to identify only the adjectives. You do not have about the types of adjectives and all. Okay, so then you have adverbs, only identification of adverbs only. Okay, here also you will not have to learn about the types of adverbs, but we will be learning about types of adverbs and types of adjectives in your class, that is physical class. Then we have linkers. Linkers are nothing but conjunctions. You have 3 different types of conjunctions. Okay, so which are those? You are going to learn about coordinating conjunctions. Okay, then you will also be learning about subordinating conjunctions. Okay, then you also will be learning about correlative conjunctions. So these are the 3 different types of conjunctions you are going to understand. Conjunctions, as you know, they link 2 sentences or they also link 2 words or phrases. Okay, it's just a joining word. They act like glue between 2 words or 2 phrases or maybe 2 clauses. Okay, in order to learn about conjunctions, you need to have little knowledge about clauses and phrases also, which you will be doing in the sessions in the classroom. Okay, then at last we have words often confused, which is related to your lessons only. Okay, so whatever prose part you have, from there only we'll be taking it. So these are nothing but homophones, which will like usually you may find it difficult, like whether this is the spelling or this is the spelling. Okay, for example, whether, WHETHER is there, WEATHER is there. So this way you may have some confusions in using some words. Okay, so that is the concept we are going to deal here now. Okay, so these are the 4 different parts when you come to this language component, or you also call it as literary activity. Yes, so we are done with the introduction of syllabus. We need to understand the pattern now. What pattern we are going to understand? We will be understanding about the pattern of evaluation. Means how is your paper evaluated? You are going to understand here. So first thing is, you have this first internal test for 10 marks. That is first internals, you will have it for 10 marks. Then again second internals, you will have it for 10 marks. Okay, so apart from that, you will have first assignment or anything for that matter. Okay, you will have assignment or interview or survey, whatever the teacher will let you know. Okay, so that for 10 marks. Again, you will have the same thing for the second one also. You will have 2 this also. Okay, so 2 internals and 2 assignments you will have, that also for 10 marks. So all these add up to 40 marks. Okay, so internals totally, whatever you do it in class and college, right? So internals come up to 40 marks. Okay, then these 40 marks is done. Then we have this term and exam for 60 marks. Okay, like you had before in the previous sem, this time also internals 40 marks you have and term and exam will be 60 marks. So these adding up to 100 marks. Okay, so your results will be announced for 100 marks. So term and exam you are writing for 60 marks and your internals will be there for 40 marks. So we need to understand the question paper pattern also. Like before, the same type of pattern only you have for this time question paper also. You will have objective type questions for 8 marks. So you will have 15 questions here. Okay, so you will have to opt for, you will have to write any 8 questions. You will have to answer any 8 questions. Okay. Reference to context, it is also known as annotation. Okay, so we'll be giving you, the university will be giving you some sentences from maybe the prose part wherein it involves a dialogue, or maybe from poetry, from each poem they might choose 1 or 2 stanzas and they may give you to write about that. Okay, who said this to whom, in which context is it used. So this way they ask you to write about it. Yes, you might have already attempted such questions. Fine. So that way you write over here. Annotation is for 12 marks. You need to answer any 3 out of this 6 poetry part. Okay. You need to prepare for 6 poetry part. You have 8 poems, right? You need to prepare for any 6. That is enough for you. Fine. We have this essay type of questions from your prose part. Fine. So you have this, you will have to answer, this is for 10 marks and you will have to answer any 2 out of these 4 questions. So prose you have 4, you need to prepare for all the 4, or if at all you prepare for any 2, question will be there for from all the 4 prose parts. But if you prepare for any 2 prose parts, that is enough actually. Thoroughly if you prepare for any 2, that is more than enough. But if you prepare for 4, then you will be very confident you can answer for any of the questions that is given to you. Fine. So you need to answer any 2 over there. This comes for 10 marks. Then you have essay type questions on poetry also, prose as well as poetry you have. So there you have it for 10 marks. Here also you need to answer any 2 out of 4. So you would have already prepared for 6 poetry parts, isn't it? 6 poems you would have already prepared. So here again you need not have to prepare anything extra, but if you are prepared for all the 8, it would serve the purpose. You can just play like anything in your exam paper. Okay, so all this objective type, and this comes up to 40 marks. Okay, so here you can see adjectives, linkers, adverbs, and the words often confused. This is there for 20 marks. Okay, so all these come up to 60 marks, which is your term and paper. Okay, so however you have 40 marks for internals and this for 60 marks. Hope you understood, you are clear with whatever I have explained. So coming to this, you have here 5 marks each, like adjectives 5 questions will be there. You need to identify the adjectives. Linkers also there will be 5 marks for fill in the blanks, and here again you will have adverbs, identification of adverbs. So there also you will have 5 questions for 5 marks, 1 mark each. Okay, so then at last you have words often confused. Yes, you may have to fill in the blank using the words given there. Okay, so you need to be clear about what word you are going to use there. So that also will be there for 5 marks, so 1 mark each. So this is the pattern of question paper that you are going to have in this sem. Okay, hope you are clear with the syllabus and the evaluation pattern as well as the question paper pattern. So this was all about it. Let us discuss more in the coming sessions. Let us meet again with another poetry part. Okay, let us take up the first poem in the next session. Okay, so see you soon children. Keep learning. Let us meet shortly. Bye bye. Take care.